Afternoon, CEYLON.
Hi.
How you doing? All right?
Yeah, good, good.
I want to ask you a couple of questions, if you don't mind. I know you've got a couple of questions to ask me.
Yeah.
And a lot of the general public, I know on our YouTube channel, people have, and Get Out of Debt Free, of which Dr. CEYLON sorts everybody's problems out, or tries to. A few questions are being asked about this current government. And as you probably know, that you register to vote, and they don't care who you vote for. Of course they want to win, but whoever you vote for, government wins. Is this correct?
Yeah, of course. It doesn't matter who goes in, because it's already preordained. I mean, if you just think about the fact that we've got
ordained? That sounds religious, like ministry, monastery.
Like Prime Minister. Oh, yeah.
Right.
Shock. But we have a hung parliament. We've got two unelected bodies they're apparently representing us, but so is Australia as well. And it's almost like it was designed that they were all going to be hung parliaments in different parts of the world. You know, it's almost like there's a bigger agenda going on. Well,
you've noticed that the taxi drivers, Chunky Mark's been talking about this recently, and I know he gets very passionate about it. And he's on about the making cancer patients work and disabled people go back to work. And I've heard that people are committing suicide. So the biggest question is, you know, this psychopath, it seems to me as if psychopathic, murdering, lying paedophiles and rapists seem to be in number 10, Houses of Parliament and the Houses of Lords, and in the churches as well. It's all in the newspapers.
No. You're missing out the heads of the police, the heads of the BBC, the heads of the banks. They're all in their special club where they like to...
rape children?
Yeah.
Well, it's not very nice to have your children raped, is it?
Oh, well, they're not there, so they don't mind. You'll notice that there's a lot of kids going missing, and social services, or as I like to refer to them, the SS, are stealing kids daily. And there's a certain cliche that are involved in the traffic. They're basically trafficking children.
So you can't report it to the police because they're doing the same thing. So the question is, are psychopathic, murdering, lying child rapists in charge of public funds? We've got the Right Honourable. How come they call themselves Right Honourable? Can you believe that? The Right Honourable George Osborne, ex-Bullingdon Club,
yes,
ex-rioter,
yes,
alleged cocaine taker,
yes,
and mental patient. Any psychiatrist or psychologist can clearly see that man is a mental patient with his red case like this, you know. And he's been put in charge of the public funds of the UK.
Well, if you look at it, it seems like he's been put in charge of his own private little pot to do what he wants with.
So he gives himself £1 million house.
Oh, yeah.
And a fat salary and invests in all these different things with his kids and stuff.
But you're getting off topic, you see. You've got to remember, he's a public servant. He's there to serve us.
No chance. Don't they think that they actually own that money? All taxpayers' money?
It's their money. Or so they'd like to think, and they'd like to make you think.
Well, what does everybody else think to this? You know? Psychopaths in charge of public money, healthcare, and the banks.
I'll tell you what I laughed at the other day, although it was probably all staged.
It's mind-blowing.
One of the Red Tie Brigade was asking David about his Bullingdon days. And
they were never done for rioting in Oxford.
Well, if you can see the clip, get it, because you'll see David go very bright red, even though they're all in it together. But this is why I say it was probably a scripted talk anyway, or maybe one of them stepped over a little bit of a line there when mentioning that.
So, what are the general public? What are people going to do about these psychopaths that are in government and what they're doing? Should this carry on? What should we do about it?
Well, as long as you're agreeing to carry on, then it's going to carry on. You've got to stand up and start saying no. This includes stop being on the voters' register.
No, I don't register, so
I'm not on it.
I can't vote. I'm not interested in voting.
In fact, I have a clip from a few months ago when somebody came and told me I had to register, otherwise I'd get fined. And of course, the usual. Who will get fined, and you will. Who am I? You know.
So you've not been fined?
No.
Oh, very good.
They need your name to fine you.
Because he didn't give a name. No name, no fine. So it was one of the things that you wanted to speak about George Osborne, because he did say that he was going to put 6p on a pint. This is in public houses in England, the UK, pubs we call them. He was going to put 6p on a pint, lager, beer, whatever, and then all of a sudden seemed to have lost his mind and reduced it by a penny and said that I'll give you all something back in the UK.
Well, I'd just like to point out here, if you think when you go in the pub today or tonight it's going to be a penny cheaper, think again. They're just going to keep that themselves. So it's not a tax rebate or anything like what they're trying to make it out to be. It's just an act to make you think you're 1p better off. Because, of course, to gain anything, beer's about £3 a pint now, so you'd have to drink 300 pints to get...
One free.
Yeah. But weren't the government trying to...
Hold on, that's binge drinking.
Oh, yeah.
So the government were trying to stop binge drinking and people drinking too much. So they've reduced alcohol now, to get more alcoholics in the country?
Well, I guess they figure if they can get you all pissed out your faces, you're not going to worry about the fact that they're screwing us over.
And they're lying murderers.
Yeah. Well, when I say screwing us over, it's not us, it's children that are actually screwing over. Well, actually screwing, to be honest with you.
It's pretty disgusting, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, what do you think they do with all this tax money that they take off people, including the government and the councils, and the fines that the police do? What do they do with this money?
Well, certain councils had a lot of it in Iceland banks. I think the BBC had several billion in the Iceland banks as well. And it's a terrible shame, but Iceland decided to go to you lot and you're not getting it back. Oh. And I think that's what we should be doing to all this lot here.
Iceland do some really, really nice Cornish pasties. I'm joking.
You'll notice that in the main news, or their controlled news, there's not a mention of Iceland. Mm-hmm. And I doubt there's much about Cyprus, where they've been robbing them, and Greece, where they're still trying to rob them.
So if you live in the UK and you go and pay any form of tax whatsoever, do the government use it to go and kill men, women and children in places like Afghanistan and Iraq?
Yeah.
So should you pay any tax at all?
Well, actually, there's a law which actually says if you're paying a government that is actually going and killing innocent men, women and children, you're just as guilty. So if you're paying tax, you're just as guilty. You've got to stop paying it.
So you're saying, CEYLON, that if anybody pays tax, they're actually got their hand in murder and rape?
Yeah. Now, I know it's hard for a lot because of the way they've got the system set up.
Sorry, everybody. But we don't pay tax. I ask for 20% discount wherever I go. Right, because I don't want to murder men, women and children. I certainly give these psychopaths any money to kill and murder men, women and children.
If everybody just stopped paying, the system would collapse. But I'm sure that even those that aren't aware of what's going on can see the system's about to go anyway. When? Well, the sooner the better as far as I'm concerned. But what the date is, I don't know.
Government's got to go then?
Government's got to go.
What about the religions?
Yeah, the people can believe whatever they want.
It's up to them to believe in free will, isn't it? You can believe in whatever you want to believe. But these psychopathic murdering liars who've just taken our money and then go and murdering other people in other countries.
They have to pay for the crimes.
So what you're saying is Bush and Blair from a few years ago, it's nothing's changed.
No. Just different heads of the corporation and out the front. Our corporation's now run by David Cameron, the UK PLC.
I was looking on tpuc.org last night and I noticed David Cameron is a private registered corporation on Dun and Bradstreet. Yeah. But the government have removed that little bit where it says error 404 on the website when you go to it. And, the psychopath George Osborne as well, who's spending all our money, is also a registered corporation, as well as the UK. I mean, they are a private registered corporation for profit, aren't they?
Yeah, all of them.
The UK.
Everything.
So it's time to stop.
Yes. Look, we're not corporations, although they class it as you can see by just checking out what a person is. It's basically they're classing you as a corporation. You're not a corporation. You're a flesh and blood living man or woman or child. And
a person?
Well, not a person, because a person...
In legal terms is a non-entity.
In their terms, yeah.
Right. So you're a man, woman or a child?
Yeah. And of course, as a man, woman or child, you cannot contract with a corporation, because a corporation can only contract with other corporations. This is why they did the sleight of hand by making us all persons, and in that same state.
So you get the Regis King, the register at birth.
Yeah.
And then the name in capital letters.
Yeah, Capitis Dimentia Maxima.
Which is dead on the gravestone. That's the corporation which they've created, which they've got you to create at birth, by saying that if you don't register, Regis King, cash register, isn't it? Register, chi-ching to them. That if you don't do this, you'll be fined £1,000, but only if you give your name.
With the registering, it's actually a £2 fine.
Oh, right. So all the rest is always £1,000.
Well, they'll probably say
TV
you'll get a
licence
fine and
register.
infer that it's £1,000, but it's actually just £2.
So,
But of course, you don't have to pay it anyway.
no, of course not. Again, if you give the name, don't give the name. So, we just want to finalise this little video and say to you all, are you still voting for government? Are you still paying tax? Have you asked yourself a few questions where that money's going and what it's doing? CEYLON?
I think we've covered it.